Hello, I'm Deniz Genc. Welcome to my podcast, The American Dream. In 30-minute episodes, we'll hear from successful Turkish professionals about their journey from Turkey to the US. My objective is to inspire young people in Turkey who consider a similar path. My guest today is Oğuzhan Aygören, a professor, entrepreneur, director, and speaker on marketing, entrepreneurship, and innovation at UC Berkeley, and the host of the TV show called Vadi Buluşmaları at CNBC. We'll delve into his experiences, challenges, and valuable advice for young Turkish individuals who consider a similar path. Oğuzhan, welcome to the podcast, and thank you so much for taking the time to be interviewed today.
Thank you, Deniz, for the invitation. It's a great pleasure. Actually, you reached out to me so long ago, and I'm so glad we had the time today to make it happen.
Yeah, thank you so much. And let's start with some icebreaker questions. Now, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being terrified of public speaking and 10 being a born storyteller, how comfortable are you?
I think I would say 8 or 9.
Mm-hmm. And what is one Turkish food you miss the most?
Oh, actually, being able to reach lahmacun or kebab anytime I want, it would be great. But as maybe a traditional Turkish food would be like karnıyarık.
Yeah. And what surprised you the most about American culture?
Okay, what's surprising? Actually, we have only seen the American culture from the movies before coming here. But when you live in the US, I come to realize that in terms of how the families exist, how the family relationships, I think it's surprising to see that it's very similar to our families in Turkey.
Mm-hmm. And what is one language barrier that you may have encountered?
Language barrier. I think speaking fluently and being able to use the language as I use Turkish.
Yeah, that's fair. And now let's start with the real questions. Now, can you please share your journey, like for example, your professional and academic, like where you studied, with the viewers, please?
Okay, thank you, Deniz. Actually, I had a long study, mostly in Turkey, in Middle East Technical Universities, and electrical electronics engineer, and then an MBA in Koç University, and then a PhD in Boğaziçi University, where I spent the most time. I became a professor there. I was also teaching classes in Istanbul Technical University as well. And actually, this is my academic journey. Besides that, actually, I had a variety of experience in different fields as well. So my first job was at P&G, multinational, but I have always wanted to start my own company. So right after that, I started 3 companies, 3 startups, 1 exit, 2 failed attempts, and the burnout, which led me to academia, which where I call myself as an academic entrepreneur or a scholar and an entrepreneur. Which feeds me a lot, because in academic setting is very similar to entrepreneurial setting, where you can learn, where you can feed your curiosity for many subjects. That's what I do, and I did many things in that regard. I started an entrepreneurship center at Boğaziçi University. Now I'm doing similar things at UC Berkeley, working with corporates, investment firms, and startups and academia all at once, bringing all of those together, which basically makes, who I am with all those different experiences. I think it's led me to where I am today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sounds great. And when did the idea of moving to the US first take root?
Actually, even when I was small, I knew that at one point I was coming to US, but it wasn't very early stages. I think the first time was when I was here at Berkeley as a visiting scholar, like 10 years ago. And at that time, I was just thinking about myself living here at some point, maybe in 10 years' time. And exactly it happened in 10 years' time. I was able to see myself flourishing here in this environment.
Mm-hmm. And how did you prepare yourself for the 10 years' time in the future that you planned out?
Actually, I didn't know when and how it will happen. But I knew one thing that, it didn't have to be sharp at an instance. It built up slowly. I was able to observe the requirements living in the US, like having a social security number, having a bank account, having a driving license. I mean, this sort of stuff. I mean, even before I decided what I would like to do, I was just looking for ways to get involved with the US system. And when it happened, actually, it helped me a lot to work it out smoothly.
Looking back now, what were your biggest concerns or anxieties about moving to the US?
Oh, concerns and anxieties. Actually, first of all, first thing is the family. I mean,
Yeah.
the parents and family and the friends. I think that's the first thing. The good part is there is direct flight, but I mean it's far. The time difference is really terrible. But I mean, besides that, this is something that you feel like you need to do. That's the first thing. And second thing is actually about the environment that you are used to. I mean, entering into a new culture, learning this language, even if it's not your mother tongue, that's something else. But actually, I mean, at first it feels like you will not be accepted, but then you realize everybody in US is like that. I mean, after some point you feel like, okay, I mean, maybe it's not that much of a big deal, and by the time it improves. And other than that, what else? I mean, in terms of the professional stuff, I think it's not that hard, but I think the main difference is actually getting adapted to the mentality, the mindset, because I think in terms of cultural and professional settings, there are differences between Turkey and US that we are used to. And it takes some time to embrace all those.
And would you say you have to be proficient in English, or did you wait until like you had at least good English to move, or would you just take the first step?
Actually, I mean, you don't have to wait. I mean, there's a thing that I like. I mean, it's in the gym that I used to go. It says that you don't have to be great to start, but you need to start to be great. So I think that's the mindset I have, and that's very in line with the entrepreneurial mindset. You don't need to wait for anything. Even if you speak no English. I mean, think about now Hamdi Lukaya, the founder of Chobani. I mean, he's just telling that he didn't know any English when he moved, but now he has this giant brand. Or there are many other examples of that.
And would you say your Turkish identity played a crucial role in building your journey here in the US?
Oh, it might be. I mean, I don't know it yet, but it helps because, I mean, I came here after I established myself in Turkey at some point. So I come here with my network, my know-how, my experience. So I bring all of those with me, and those connections help me a lot, and I help those connections by being here. That's one thing. Other thing is, I think, I mean, although the culture is somewhat different, I think having this Turkish identity just, I'm not only from Turkey, I mean, I think it's similar for other countries as well. Coming from a different place make you more observant about the environment here. So you are always like, okay, this is how things work in my country, this is how it works here. Maybe I can balance that, I can learn that, I can teach that. So there is always this exchange of information. I also switch between the identities as well. But I think it's a good thing.
Would you say there was a very big challenge you had to overcome to like navigate your Turkish identity here, or?
No, I don't think there was a big challenge about that. I think I feel like very welcomed, very well accepted in that regard. Because there's also one other thing. I mean, there is one thing I have always said. It doesn't matter where you live. It matters where you live in your head. I mean, even if you do not physically live, because I mean, even no matter where I live. I mean, even when I live in Turkey, I always feel like I always connect with the ecosystem here, with the Silicon Valley mindset, with the entrepreneurial mindset. So in my head, I was always living in this ecosystem, in this environment. So in that sense, I mean, I didn't feel any challenge. On top of that, I feel like very blessed and grateful to be actually here. Now I can see I can visualize, I can physically connect with the people, with the ideas, with the environment that I live in my head. So it makes things so much easier. So again, I mean, my topic is you don't have to wait for it to happen. First, you can live in your head, you can embrace it in your soul, in your heart, in your mind, and then when it physically appears, then things just continue where it goes. It makes things a lot easier.
Yeah. It's all about the mentality, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And would you say you were prepared adequately with your Turkish education and like Middle East Technical Institute to be America, or would you say you had to educate yourself even further?
No. I mean, I think the education in Turkey is fabulous. I mean, also as a professor, I'm both as a student, as a professor, as a researcher, as a scholar. I mean, I can confidently say that. I mean, it's all the same things. I mean, Turkish education system is very well adapted to the U.S. education system. So in terms of the knowledge, information, or again, the mindset, it's not very different from the top U.S. education. But what is different is, I think, the self-confidence, the connections, and maybe the vision that what you believe in. In Turkey, I think there is, I mean, in Turkey, you can go up to a certain point. Maybe the education makes you believe that you can go wherever you like. But I mean, in Turkey, there are some certain limits, some certain milestones where you can go. And also, this is the advice for the entrepreneurs that we give, or many investors give to the entrepreneurs. When you start a company in Turkey, you need to think global from the day one. You cannot just focus on Turkey to move, to grow. It's the same for everybody, I guess. So if you have ambitions, dreams about being like Google, I mean, being like Apple. So it's not common, it's really hard. I mean, you don't have to go that far, but I think you still need to have global connections. And if it's related to technology, innovation, entrepreneurship, I think Silicon Valley is the place to be. And you have to do that at some point. And Turkish education is really helpful in that regard. You just need to make the move.
And let's say you have a technology company in Turkey and you want to tap into the Silicon Valley market for technology. How would you say you would go about doing that?
Yeah, there are a couple of ways for doing that. I mean, I know a couple of entrepreneurs who contact Silicon Valley investors, get investment from there, even while they're in Turkey. There are examples of that. And second way would be through universities like Berkeley, Stanford, joining into programs, accelerator programs like we have in Berkeley. We have the most famous one is the Skydeck program, and there are many others as well. And other one is attending other accelerators like Y Combinator, Techstars. Joining all those accelerators also help. And it's also possible to find creative ways to do that. I mean, I see that. For example, also in my TV show, I have interviewed one entrepreneur, Gökçe. I mean, even when she was in high school, she connected with a research lab in Stanford, and somehow she got accepted. Okay, so if you want something so deep, you can find a creative way and a persistent way to make it happen, and you don't have to wait for the opportunity to come to you. You need to be proactive for that. Actually, from the academic perspective, I can say we talk about entrepreneurship. What are the traits of being an entrepreneur? So proactiveness is one of the things. Second one is risk taking risks. And third one is being innovative, being creative about it. So if you have those traits, I think you can find a way to make it happen.
And how would you go about, like, how would you advise someone to build a network in the US, like a professional network, would you say?
Okay. Again, there are a couple of ways to do that. I think first of all, the number one thing is work on something which is really valuable. Work on something which is really great. I mean, I did that a couple of times. I mean, if you work on a great project, you can just let people know, like people in Harvard, Stanford, Berkeley, MIT. You can just contact professors or entrepreneurs, and people in the US are really responsive to the people outside. Especially if you have a great idea, great project. For example, I mean, the first time I was teaching a course at Boğaziçi, I contacted an entrepreneurship professor at Harvard. I told him that, yeah, I'm doing that, I'm doing PhD, will teach a course. And you know what? He replied me, and he even sent me his course materials to help me. That's one thing. And another thing is actually going for the conferences, going for the industry events that you are, or academic conferences or competitions that you are interested, that you are working on, and you can get to know people. You can build a network for that. And this is also what I did when I was doing a PhD. I came to US several times, met with the professors. And other thing is, by physically visiting the people that you would like to meet. I mean, you can go to university campus, you can go to a startup, you can go to an event and say, okay, hey, I would like to meet you. You can send an email, hey, I'm in the town, would you like to meet? And but probably there's a higher chance that they will take it and they will meet you, because people here, especially in this part of the world, they appreciate this assertiveness, this proactiveness. I mean, as long as it's not creepy, as long as it's not weird, as long as you have something to offer as well. So first, it's important that first you give something. Hey, you tell them that, hey, you are working on this project, and you need to make sure that it is interesting to those other people. For example, when I did that, I didn't contact all the professors at the universities. I really researched about universities and found just one professor from Berkeley, from Stanford, from MIT, who might be the most interested to my work. It was for my PhD thesis. I said, okay, who might be most interested in my work? I found that person, I connected him, talked about my research, and say, okay, I'd like to talk about it more. I'd like to look for a way how to collaborate with you. So that's how I approach. First, you need to have a great product, great research, and then you need to find the right people, and then you need to offer them something, and then you'll be surprised that they will be responsive.
And would you say like this network stage is like in the later stage of a company development, or like gradual, or like the first thing you should do when you're trying to tap in?
I think it's not the very first thing, but it should be early. It's because, I mean, I think there is for myself, I mean, when I think about myself, what I do, I just summarize it in 3 words: vision, inspiration, connection. Okay, so vision is where you would like to go, what you would like to achieve. Okay, so I think in this stage, you can just explore things. You can just connect people for exploration. You can be open about it. You can just say, okay, I'd like to be in this field, but I don't know yet how to do it. So I'm just here to explore. So I'd like to talk to you. So if you mention your aim explicitly, they will be responsive and they will help you to explore. But it will not be for your company. It will be for the early exploration stage. After that stage, once you have a clear vision about it, then you need inspiration. You need inspiration to plan it, to make it more concrete. And in that inspiration stage, you can see what others are building. It can be through a YouTube video, it can be websites, it can be reading a book, or it can be talking to people directly, or it can be attending exhibitions, events, again, conferences. And once you have a clear idea, or once you have a prototype about your product, then I think it's the connection stage. So once you have this prototype, minimum viable product, or something to tell, something to describe, something to offer, I think this is the time where you have the real connection. Before, it's all about exploration. So you need to be careful about that. Sometimes I think there's an important point to make a distinction here. Sometimes in entrepreneurship, people say fake it till you make it. It's a very tricky advice. Okay, you need to fake it, but not always, or not all situation. It depends. You need to take this with a grain of salt. It's just like you need to be very clear that, okay, now I'm at exploration stage. That's the reason why I'm connecting with you. But if you need to reach people and you don't have much time, for example, in entrepreneurship, we call about elevator pitch. So once you're an elevator with a successful, powerful person that you like to meet, and you are there, and you have just 10 seconds to impress him, to have a first impression. Maybe in that sense, you need to, then you can fake it in that sense, because your goal, your aim is not sell your product or what you are doing, but to leave an impression, to leave a lasting impression that he or she will tell you that, hey, you can contact me later from, this is my number, this is my business card, this is my email, you can. So your aim should be going to the next level. Okay, so it depends on the context. These things are very contextual.
Yeah, definitely. And from your experience interviewing and aiding Turkish startup founders in the US in your TV show, what would you say is one common trait amongst them that that most of them shared?
Okay, so what's the common thing they become successful in the US? Oh, let me think about it. I mean, I'm not sure if there is one common theme. I think there are different groups of people. One group of people is people, who came here very early during 1970s, 1980s. I think that was a very different era than today, because at that period, Silicon Valley, I think, was at its peak, and they all tell that it was easier at that time because there was not many people. It was the scarcity of talent and capital. Now we are living in abundance of funding, abundance of talent, abundance of people, and also this AI changes the dynamic. So maybe just thinking about that, what's the common trait would be the common trait of an entrepreneur, which is, I would say, grit and perseverance, not giving up. Because all the successful entrepreneurs that I know are the people who didn't give up, who continue their journey even if they have failed several times, and ultimately at the end of the day they succeed. They build something. I think that might be the common theme.
Yeah, sounds great. And with the recent development of AI and a really cloudy future, what would you say is a very progressive and a very promising field in the next 10 years for maybe entrepreneuring in?
I mean, do you mean in terms of building startups or in terms of choosing majors, what to study?
Well, yeah, both.
Okay, both. Okay. I mean, my general advice would be, choosing what to study, I think it doesn't matter. As long as it's something that you enjoy, that you have fun, and that you are curious to learn, I'm genuinely thinking that it doesn't matter. But what matters is, I believe, the ultimate skill is knowing how to learn. Okay, learning to learn by yourself. So educating yourself is the number one skill, I believe. So, but if it takes time educating yourself, because that's the ultimate skill for life, then until that time, what I would suggest is going into places where you have more luck with the connections. So if you go to the top institutions like Berkeley, Stanford, MIT, Harvard, NYU, in all those places, you will have more chances to meet with people who are working to change the world, or who are making tremendous things. So you will have great connections throughout the life, and it doesn't matter which major you study. This is what I believe. And second, from the startup world, it's now easier for people to start something, but harder for people to grow that something. So now I think that's the change now. In economics course, actually used to learn and teach that people have infinite needs, infinite wants, but there are scarce resources. But now this is changing. Now we are living in the world of abundance, infinite wants, but now we are very soon having infinite resources to feed all that people. So that's a huge and deep topic right now. So in that regard, there are a couple of areas I think flourishing. One of them is the health-related subjects, like focusing on longevity, health. Another one is climate, energy, sustainability. Because I mean, we used to think that energy is finite, but now we are finding ways to benefit more from solar energy or other resources or more environmental friendly nuclear sources. I mean, things like that. This kind of technologies, I believe, are the best places to look. And other than that, actually, it's also easy for now individuals to, especially for high school students. I mean, if I go back to my high school years, what I would do is I would have researched and tried and experimented a lot with the existing AI tools, build my own apps, and see which one works, so which sticks. Experimenting a lot, prototyping a lot. I think that would be really helpful. And it doesn't matter what you do, as long as you build and throw something to the wall and see what sticks.
Mm-hmm. And like when you actually do throw something to the wall and it sticks, what do you think is how do you stand out for the things like that stick, and how do you make sure that your product, you think, stands out?
I mean, at first you don't have to worry about standing out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you are a single individual and just building things, you don't know. I mean, you just try, as long as you have the experimentation mindset. In experimentation mindset, actually, the scientific method tells you that you need to change one variable at a time, and this is your hypothesis, and then you test two versions of it. In online, actually, we call this as A/B testing or multivariate testing. And you just know that when you change one thing, you just know that what works and what doesn't work. You can, maybe for YouTube, you can record one video every day or tens of videos every day, and then you can see which video has the most likes and shares. Or for the mobile apps, products that you build, you see which products are liked by other people. You can try a lot. Now, I think this is the era that we live. You can build an app in just a day, and then you can try it out easily instead of building it for months or years. So that's the change when compared to 10 years ago, 20 years ago.
Well, I think that concludes our time, and thank you so much for sharing your story and sharing advice to whoever's watching on the other side of the screen. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Deniz.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. It was a pleasure for me as well.